This is how to end narcissistic conversations in seconds. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a conversation with a narcissist, feeling like you're stuck in an endless storm, relentless, exhausting, and impossible to escape? It's like banging your head against a wall, right? There's no point, no resolution, and they just keep ranting, dodging the issue, and attacking you in both obvious and subtle ways. They're not interested in your perspective. They only want to torment you. If you've ever been in this situation, you know how draining it can be. Well, today, I'm going to share 5 powerful tactics to help you instantly shut down any conversation with a narcissist. This special holiday edition is packed with practical techniques to keep them at arm's length, whether it's family, friends, or anyone else. Stick around until the end to learn how to break free from their control. Number 1. Play the confusion card asterisk. Don't defend yourself. Don't justify your actions. Instead, act as though you can't comprehend why they're behaving the way they are. Imagine the narcissist is shouting, swearing, or playing the victim. Your instinct might be to defend yourself or try to prove them wrong. But you know that that's exactly what they want you to do. Instead, ask a disorienting question like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Do you need help?" What will this do? It will instantly make them question their own behavior. They may realize their actions aren't coming across as intended, or they may see that they're acting irrationally. You'll come across as genuinely concerned for their well-being. If they respond with, "Why do you ask? What's wrong with me?" you can reply, "Oh, I'm just concerned. It seems like you might be going through something difficult right now." By doing this, you subtly make it all about them while, at the same time, distancing yourself from the game. When you disengage, they're left without someone to argue with, and the fight loses its meaning. If no one is there to be trapped, what's the point of the prison they've tried to create? They'll end up trapped in the guilt of their behavior, as the disconnect between who they want to be and how they're acting becomes more apparent. One key point to remember when asking such a question is that your body language should match your tone. If you ask, "Are you okay?" while showing anger, they'll know you're pretending. They'll sense that you're concealing your real emotions. Keep your demeanor neutral and curious, as if you're genuinely concerned, but not emotionally involved. Try something like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Do you need help? It seems like you're a bit all over the place." Another tactic, if they ask, "Why didn't you answer my call?" act totally confused. Scratch your head and respond, "Oh, what are you talking about?" "I was just thinking about the square root of 144. "Wait, what did you say again?" By giving absurd answers, you waste their time, causing them to get bored and either hang up or abandon the conversation. That's the goal. Number 2, turn their questions back on them. Narcissists are masters of counter-questioning. If you try to hold them accountable by asking a question, they'll deflect and ask something unrelated, taking the conversation in a completely different direction. This tactic wastes your time and drains your energy. You can use the same strategy, but with the goal of making them realize how wrong they are, without directly telling them so. For instance, if a narcissist says, "Why are you so emotional?" you can turn the question back on them by asking, "What makes you think that's a bad thing?" They can't come out and say, "I think emotions are for fools," or "You're weak for feeling things." Instead, they'll be forced to lie. To engage effectively with a narcissist, you must ask questions that, when answered, will uncover hidden aspects of their true nature. Counter their inquiries with open-ended questions that they likely won't have ready answers for. Example 2. If a narcissist asks, "Why can't you act normal?" you can flip the question back on them by asking, "What does normal mean to you?" They might give you a definition, which you can then probe further. For instance, they might say, "A normal person is someone who forgets the past and moves on." You could reply, "So you're saying a normal person is someone who pretends not to remember anything? Someone who behaves like a robot?" Continue with your questioning until they grow tired of the conversation. Don't provide direct answers to their questions. Keep questioning them until they feel exposed and decide to disengage. Number 3. Agree with what they don't expect. When they say something hurtful, their goal is to provoke an emotional reaction from you. They want you to defend yourself and deny their accusations, but instead of resisting, agree with their insults in a way that reclaims your power. Example 1. If they call you selfish, respond, absolutely. I've been prioritizing myself for once. If they mock your intelligence with, you think you're so smart, say, yes, I value my intellect. By agreeing, you're not accepting the insult in the way they intend. You're shifting the perspective, agreeing with them, but making it clear you don't see it as a negative. If they accuse you of being too sensitive, reply, yes, and that helps me understand myself better. Here, you're setting a clear boundary. You're asserting that they don't define who you are, or what's wrong with you, you do. They may continue pointing out your flaws, but you'll turn them into strengths, leaving them with no ammunition. These responses are short, straightforward, and leave no room for argument. If they react with shock or frustration, stay calm and composed, keep your face neutral and your body relaxed. Then simply move on. Number 4, if nothing else works, change the topic. Your goal is to make them leave you alone. If they try to argue, divert the conversation to a neutral subject. Imagine, for example, that you're spending Christmas with your narcissistic mother, and she tries to make the day all about her by saying, "Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you show up and please me?" Instead of defending yourself or telling the truth, shift the focus by saying something like, "Oh, have you seen my charger? By the way, what happened to so-and-so?" You might even talk about their favorite rival, since narcissists love gossiping. Just listen, but don't get drawn into discussions about yourself. The key is not to let them focus on you. Instead, steer the conversation towards subjects that interest them, giving them positive supply without feeding their need to control the narrative. If the narcissist says something emotionally charged like, "You don't love me, do you?" don't try to explain or answer. Instead, casually respond, "By the way, did you see that meme I sent you last week?" They'll be confused, replying with, "What?" You can keep acting oblivious, as if you don't understand the emotional weight of the situation. Pretend to be unfazed. What will happen? They'll likely grow frustrated and say something like, "I'm done with you. Get away from me. I don't even want to look at you." This is the reaction you want. By not engaging emotionally, you disarm them completely. Now I'm done talking to you. Good riddance. That's mission accomplished. Number 5. The ultimate weapon. Use humor or absurdity. Wit or playful remarks can diffuse their hostility. If a narcissist calls you a failure, you can reply, "At least I'm consistent." By saying that, you're subtly pointing out their own lack of consistency. You're implying, "You chase your unrealistic dreams, but when you call me a failure, at least I'm true to myself. This is who I am, who I've always been, and who I'll continue to be." Deliver this with a smile, making it clear that you couldn't care less about their judgment. If they try to manipulate or intimidate you by claiming, "You're nothing without me, you can't survive without me," you could respond with, "You're right, I'll never forget how you used to argue over the Wi-Fi password." This response shows how insignificant they are to you and how little their absence will affect you. You're not telling them, "You're wrong," or reassuring them, "I'll be fine." You don't need to. What you need to do is laugh it off and keep it playful. Why? Because you want them to reveal their true nature, especially if you're keeping track of their behavior. You want them to feel the discomfort of realizing they're not getting under your skin. How can they feel this discomfort? By recognizing that their attempts to provoke you aren't working. They may try to push your buttons, but none of them are being pushed. Or even worse for them, you might be laughing at them, something that truly triggers a narcissist. That wraps up this episode. I hope you found it helpful and practical. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.